I've got a junker brass ring here with a big gemstone in it. I also have an iron harness ring for a horse and a square nail. Iron square nail. I'm going to demonstrate the Nokta Legend and the Deus 2. The differences between the discriminative circuits on these machines. So with the Nokta Legend, when you press that horseshoe button, you have 4 different options for discriminative patterns. And it's notching, so it's going to silence those notched out segments. So you have all metal, which is pretty much self-explanatory. You're going to hear all the metals in the ground. And this is 60 tone and full tones. I'm only going to do 60 tone and full tones. I'm not going to bother with 2 tone, 5 tone, any pitch tones. I'm not going to bother with those. I don't have enough time right now. So in this video. So this is silent notching. When you press that horseshoe button, you're silencing the machine, whatever you have notched out. And I hunt with only 1 and 2 notched out, so the ground. You have 4 different patterns on the Legend. You have all metal, ground, iron, and customized pattern. So I always hunt in ground pattern. I never discriminate up higher, because once I just start notching up higher, that silences the machine, right? You can be over a good spot that has a lot of iron. You only know you're over that good spot because you're rejecting that. You're silencing the iron, and you want to have different settings for iron patches than out in the open. And the only way that you can know that you're over a good spot is if you have your iron on. I want to reject targets by tone, but I still want to hear those rejected targets out. That's why I do not notch, like on the Legend or the Equinox. Once you start notching, you're going to walk right over the good spots. And so I notch the ground out because I have really hot ground, and my soil is really noisy on all machines. And I've never found a machine that rejects out iron rings or just iron period. You know, the iron is going to sound like good targets, especially if you start notching, if you start silencing your machine. If you cannot hear the iron, you're going to be digging up this iron, right? The undesirable iron. I want to dig out these harness rings. I think they're fun to dig out, but some people may not want to dig them because there's a lot of this junk around. But these 2 targets, believe it or not, they sound very similar if you notch your iron out. And I'll show you that here. I'll just start with the Legend, and I'll switch from single frequency to multi-frequency, and then I'll start discriminating. So I'm in 15 kilohertz, all metal here. I'm just going to notch the ground out here. Notch the ground. So we'll push it 1 time. 1 and 2 are notched out here. This and this. This and the iron. The numbers are high. You can kind of tell this is iron a little bit. But listen to it on the edge of the coil. It's iron. Right. Listen to this target right here. Almost the same exact number ID, right? 37, 38, 37. I don't get as nearly as good as a signal on top of the coil there. But watch what happens when I get next on the out edge of the coil there. I'm not getting an iron tone. Right? I'm not getting a rejected tone there, right? So now watch what happens when I put it in iron off. So I've rejected the iron out. 0 through 10 or 0 through 9 I've rejected out. I'm still getting this target here. But when I get to the edge of the coil, I no longer can identify that that's iron because I have no more iron tones. I have silenced this machine. See this nail right here? It's silent, right? When I walk over a patch of iron, I want to know that I'm over iron because I want to change my detector. I want to change frequencies, switch it up a little bit, and I want to know that the iron is there in the first place. So I'll accept this iron here. I'll just go to ground here. 1 and 2 is notched out. Listen to this. When I walk over nails, I want to know I'm over nails, because that's where the good stuff is at. Straight up. Right? Listen to this. It's iron. Right? I'm getting some grunts on there. Listen to this ring. Right? I'm in 15 kilohertz field program. The program doesn't really matter much here. But I will go to, I'll change frequencies here. I'll change over to multi-2 here. My tone break is at 10 here. So I use this detector. I discriminate. I reject by tones. So I want to force the iron, or like the foil, or maybe, or I usually just don't discriminate. Just tell you the truth, I just don't move my tone break around too much on this machine. I just keep it at 10 or at 11. I was, you know, going up to 16 every once in a while, but a lot of small gold reads up right at 11 on this detector. So, it's just that's how it's going to go. So I'm in multi-2 here. My tone break's at 10. Now listen to this target. Still hitting it pretty hard, but the nut, it's not a high number now. It's a low number. It's right at my tone break. Listen to it. 11 reads up at 11, right at the iron. Right. Listen to this ring here. Now I am discriminated to 2 here. Now listen to this here. I can still hear the iron, but now watch what happens when I discriminate out the iron here. Oops, I'll go back to 2 here. I'm going to discriminate out the iron. Listen to it. I'm still getting an 11 number. Sounds just like gold now, right? So the 15 kilohertz is doing much better, because this iron right here sounds just like small gold, right? In single frequency, let's go back to single frequency. Listen to it. It's discriminated out. I want to accept the iron. Tone break it instead of rejecting it out, notching it out. Iron. Right. This target right here. The ring. Still getting a high tone over there, away from the coil. So I will, I'll tone break. Or I'll discriminate here. I've already discriminated. I don't have to show you that. I'll tone break here. My tone break's at 10 here. Now watch what happens when I go to multi-frequency. And tone break. I just changed it to 11 to 10. So if I notch that 11 out and I go to multi-frequency, I'm going to reject that target out, right? But that's also rejecting the gold, the small gold. I've had several pieces of small gold read right at 11, and necklaces and bracelets read up as 11, right? So I'll show you here with the Deus 2. It doesn't work the same on the Deus 2. That tone break that I just showed you, that tone break, you can move that tone break up and down. So with the tone break on there that I use, that's how I discriminate. I want to reject targets out by tone, but I still want to hear those rejected targets out, right? I want to still hear the iron. I still want to hear the foil. Even if I do reject the foil out, I still want to hear that foil. I want to know that that foil is there, because that's where the hot spots are at. Foil is the hot spots. Now I'm going to turn the Deus 2 on here. So these are 2 different types of discrimination. So the Legend has a silent discrimination, and the Deus 2 has a tone break discrimination, an audible rejection. So I'm just going to show you that here. I've had a lot of people ask this question, and I've tried to explain it in videos, but I just wanted to go into detail about how these 2 detectors are different, but you can make them perform the same through the tone break on the Legend. Don't discriminate on the Legend, right? I just urge you, try not to discriminate on the Legend, because it's silent notching. You can sweep over really good areas and not even know that you skipped over a good area, right? So I'll start out in Deus Mono here. Deus Mono. This is 2 or 3 tone. Iron tone. And I can tell that it's iron too, just like the Legend. I can tell that it's iron just by, it's kind of a grunty target there, right? And of course the iron tone as you get away. Now listen to this. I'm not in full tones either. This is just the stock program. I'll go to multi-frequency here. I will discriminate out. The iron already is discriminated, you know. But if I accept it, that's going to give me a target tone for that iron there. That's how it starts getting complicated once you start messing with the buttons. But I'm just gonna go to full tones here, sensitive full tones. Listen to this target right here. Let's do it. Iron. Totally iron, right? Rejects it completely. Listen to this target right here. This nail. I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. If I wiggle slow, or if I drop my recovery speed, my reactivity down, it'll get a high tone on that, right? Pretty much every time. The Deus 2 and the Legend like a fast swing speed. If you think you're over iron, just give it a couple quick sweeps, and you'll know that it's iron right off the bat, because it gets rejected if you sweep over it fast. I've tried to tell you guys that so many times. If you want to reject iron, just swing over it fast. Then you'll know it's iron. I'll go back to the mono program, and let's look at the numbers here. I'm gonna give you guys some big numbers here. Just watch. Here's the ring. 83. Here's the iron ring. 93. Now watch, I'll just change it over to full tones here. I'm just going to change the tones here. Listen to it. I'm in single frequency, but I can hear that iron really coming through. Listen to it. On the Legend, it wasn't nearly as evident. Listen to it. This is pretty much the stock program. I haven't adjusted anything except for the tones. Now listen to this. Nice, crisp, clear tone. The numbers are almost the same too. You know, there's been a lot of confusion on the differences between these machines, and you know, what should my discrimination pattern be on the Legend? Well, I don't discriminate. I tone break instead, because I want to still hear those rejected targets out. That's just like the Deus 2. The discrimination on the Deus 2 is the tone break. You still get that rejected tone, that audible tone for your rejected targets out when you discriminate. So to say, I really don't want to get into 2-tone or 5-tone or pitch tones. It operates a little bit different. But there we go. There's discrimination. I've made a video of comparing the discrimination on the Deus 1 and the Deus 2, and they are different. They operate different in full tones. The Deus 1 is a silent discrimination, and the Deus 2 is an audible discrimination. Well, thank you for watching.